And we're going to go. All right, guys, thank you so much for being on the webinar today. I appreciate everybody doing so good to get on. It can be confusing at times with regards to this technology. I wanted to introduce myself to you. My name is Michelle Saxon. I am the Client Relations Manager for Mission Insight. And that means that I am the person that you get when you're chatting with us, or the person you get when you call us, or the person you get when you email us. So I am the person that helps our clients and answers any questions or assists in any way, including webinars and learning about Mission Insight. This is the Mission Insight homepage. I'm sure you're familiar with that. I would take a little trip around the website because we've got some wonderful things that if you might have any questions with regards to, say, where does Mission Insight get their data? You would hover over Solutions, Faith Connect, and there is a nice little menu that goes down the right-hand side that gives you a ton of information about us that is not in the system when you log in. So when I put the question forward, where does Mission Insight get its data? This is where we get our data. We've got demographics from the Census Bureau. We've got information from Experian, Mosaic. We've got information from the Quadrennium Project, Epsilon, Total Source, Household Data, Simmons, Consumer Behavior Data, Synergos Technologies, etc. So when you are within the system, you're not just getting information from the Census Bureau. You're getting a much larger, varied information that we're excited to be able to present to you. The way to log into the system, you would hover over Client Center and click Login. I'm assuming everybody has a username and password. If you do not, then you would hover over Client Center and choose Registration. Registration is how everybody gets started. And there is a unique agency ID number that we have created for the Northern Illinois District. And it is a PDF, and anybody can register to use Mission Insight. So if you have people in your churches, colleagues, lay people, people that are going to help you out or on a committee, they can register to use the system. We have unlimited users and unlimited usage, just at FYI. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And you won't see this when you log in. I see this because I work for the company. But what will happen is when you log in, you will see your study, whether it is the local church study or the main study. And when I say main study, this is a view of the main study. This is the Northern Illinois District LCMS study. When you're a local church, when you sign up through the system, here's pretty much what you see. A zoomed in view of your church. It has wording in red and the house is a little bit bigger. But again, we're going to be working inside the actual district level today. And I just wanted to point that out. So all these blue dots are all the churches. And until you zoom in, you will not see the name of the church. But zooming in is very easy. I'm just going to go over some little bit of navigation with you right now. If you want to zoom in, you can do a couple things. The first thing I like to do is use my mouse wheel. If I click up or away from me on my mouse wheel, I zoom in. If I click back or toward me, I zoom out. You can also use this little plus and minus sign over here in the upper left. I don't really enjoy that, but some people use that all the time. And then there's also a way to do a quick zoom. It is right click on the map choose rectangle zoom, and draw a little box around the area in which you'd like to zoom in tighter. Rectangle zoom, I'm right clicking, rectangle zoom, draw a little box, and you get really tight into the area. You can also, if you get lost, right click and say reset my zoom, and it'll go back to how it looked when you logged in. To go right, left, up and down, or north, south, east, and west, it's a simple click and drag. Click and drag, click and drag. So that's how you manage zooming in and moving about. I want to introduce you to our welcome screen. This is pretty much where you need to start if you're brand new to using the system. I have my welcome screen turned off. When I log in, it does not appear because I'm in and out of different studies all day long, so I've turned mine off. But as a new user, you should have seen this. You may have chosen to turn it off by clicking, please don't show me this page again. If for some reason when you log in you don't see it, you can bring it back by simply hovering over welcome screen and clicking on welcome screen. Keep in mind, all of our menu items up here are hover first, or just place your mouse over the word first, and then a menu drops down. And then you click on what you want to do. So I clicked on welcome screen. And again, I can't stress enough that this is the most important page in the system. It's going to give you all of your training. Basic Site Orientation is a simple PDF file that takes you through what we call starting point. And these are, this is a document you can print out and keep it alongside of you at your desk. But what the author, Chuck Salter, did with this particular document is he went through every menu item and tab in the system. It tells you exactly what everything is. It's 5 pages and it's pretty comprehensive. So definitely use this. The second thing to do is we have what we call a workflow, and we believe at Mission Insight that the first thing a local church should do is figure out who you are as a church. And it's called organizational identity. Who are we? We call it the core view. Who are you as a church? And this is going to walk you through how to upload and import your congregation list into Mission Insight. All the instructions, very comprehensive. And this is what we feel is really important to do the first thing you do when you get into the system. The next thing is, who is our neighbor? That's called community view. So first you do your core view, then you do your community view. And this walks you through how to run your first reports, basically. You'll be using the report wizard. You'll generate your first predefined reports. You'll be generating an executive insight report. And we will also ask you to go through an exercise with us using our worksheet for the executive insight report. He's taken you through how to use the mission impact guide, doing a report called impressions, how to explore that, how to explore the quadrennium. So this is pretty comprehensive also. It is it's set up to walk you through a particular path of learning about your neighbor, community view. And when you put core view and community view together, you are in fusion view. And that's where you find ministry solutions and engage in mission. And this document is going to cover generating a report that we have called the Comparative Insight Report. And the Comparative Insight Report cannot be run unless your congregants have been uploaded to the Mission Insight system. Because what it's doing is it's comparing the people inside your church to the community outside of the church. It's a wonderful report. It's called the Comparative Insight Report. Any questions at this point?
I do. This is Pastor Rock.
Hi, Pastor.
In this fusion report you just visited about, does it look to see how our current members relate to the community at large, and then the idea is then that we would have the skills or not skills to go after a certain segment of unchurched in our area? I don't know if I'm voicing my question.
You're pretty much on the same wavelength. What can I do? Do I have a sample? I'm gonna open a comparative insight report. I'm gonna go to plotting single church. What church are you with?
Beecher. It's in the southeast corner of the NID.
I just was curious if you guys might have done this, but you haven't. Beecher's not listed. So I'm just going to plot one of the congregations. I'm not going to show any names or anything, but you see the red dots that I just plotted? That's their congregation. So in Mission Insight, I'm kind of skipping around, but in Mission Insight, before you can pull any report, you have to tell Mission Insight, okay, this is the neighborhood I want to study. What does that mean? It means you have to tell the system, I want information on a radius around this address, or I want information on this zip code, or I want information on this custom shape that I am going to draw. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to just draw a shape that's going to encompass that congregation. And I am going to click on predefined reports, and I am going to click on comparative insight. And so what it's doing is it's going into that polygon, calculating all the information of all the people in the area, and calculating all the information about the congregants only, and comparing the two. So here we are, these three sections. Who are we and who is our neighbor? Congregant and community, mosaic profile comparison, and financial potential estimate. This report, and I'm just going to read this because it says it better than I could ever remember it. This new comparative insight report provides a congregation with a broad comparison of the demographic profile of a defined mission area with the demographic profile of the congregants. It accomplishes this by matching a select set of variables from within the Experian Mosaic segment of the study area with that part of the study area in which the church's congregants reside. To accomplish this, a mosaic profile of both the study area and the church's congregants is generated within the system. So this information, as an FYI, is based on mosaic profiles. It's not based on the Census Bureau information. When I told you about the data that we offer you, we looked at the data sets in the very beginning of the webinar. There was one called the Experian Mosaic Profiles. This is the information from Experian, okay? Experian Mosaic is just simply the company Experian decided they wanted to segment all households in the United States into clusters of, I think they just call them mosaic profiles. And so when I go through this, you'll see what I'm talking about. So here we go. It's set up this way. The mosaic segment study area, which is all the people in that polygon, or all the households, I apologize. Then we've got congregant mosaic segments weighted by presence. This is the congregation. So if you're looking at this and you are seeing that about 27% of the households in the area, head of household is 36 to 45. Well, in the congregation, they're about 25%. They're heavily at 51 to 65, and that's kind of right on target with the community too. So you're looking at this to know whether you're like the actual community or you're not like them. And to answer your question, when you find a variable that's glaring that you're totally not like them, to me that would say this is where we need to reach out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know this is a lot of information, guys. We kind of went a little bit more advanced in the training, but this is the example of the report. And I believe that your question about the report was answered. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess then it would be a philosophical concept on behalf of the congregation, whether they want to reach out to people where they can relate to them. Like we have lots of young kids, so that's what we're going to go after, because we have plenty of people who can relate when we invite them to come. Or like you said, you can flip it and say, I'm going to, or our congregation is going to reach out to people that we don't have many of.
And see, that's where you guys as a church need to decide who you are and where you're wanting to go.
Yeah. Do we want to reach those who are like us because we'll be able to relate to them? Or do we want to reach those who aren't like us because we need to round ourselves out, so to speak? Exactly. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And not for every church, that's totally different. You know?
Yes, I understand. Okay, yeah.
All right, let me look at real quick these particular Mosaic segments. You're going to be seeing these crazy names: Generational Soup, Babies in Bliss, Fast Track Couples. So basically what Mosaic Experian has done is create a little title for groups of people. So in this particular study area, that polygon I drew, there are 18,662 households that are considered generational soup. And in the congregation, 7 households are. Okay? So that's how you figure out. Now let me flip back here. I want to flip back here to the welcome screen. And I want you to see the last button, Essential Documents, Mosaic and Mission Impact Information. This third grouping is your key to breaking open those crazy names. So the segment descriptions by Experian, the ebook by Experian is going to give you the secular descriptions of generational soup, kids in Cabernet. What are these people like? What do they like to do? How do they shop? What do they like with regards to, radio stations and internet? I mean, so much information, guys. Then there's a document that our colleague Tom Bandy created called Mission Impact. And this is the mosaics, but it's totally about mission. It's about what they like with regards to worship, hospitality, small group, architecture, leadership. So this is the key to these reports you're going to see that talk about mosaics. This is your reference material. And you can get to it by either going to the welcome screen and clicking on the essential documents, or you can hover your mouse over help and go to documents. In addition to all those mosaic documents, you've got a multitude of other helpful documents that you should take a look at. We've got the MI Demographic Reference Guide. This is like gold too, because it's going to let you know, and I'm just going to skip about demographics, about the census, about geographies. It's going to let you know about when we present a variable to you on a report, what does population mean? I mean, that's a very basic one, but we want you to know exactly what is being talked about when you see these things on your reports. What is a household? What is considered a family or a non-family? What is considered dwelling types? So know that there's resourceful information under help documents. All right. We also have some videos. I'm just going to tell you right now that the videos, while they're outdated, they're still useful. Keep that in mind. We are working on updating our videos, but these are very helpful, even if they are a little bit outdated, okay? We have a getting started, a basic navigation, creating and printing theme maps, drawing polygons, and then about uploading the congregants. It's named People Plot. So that's there for you too.
Yeah, may I ask a question about what you meant by outdated? Does it mean the video, what it shows on the video, it doesn't really conform to what the user will see when they actually work with the software to upload data or something like that? Is that what you mean by out of date?
That's what I mean, but it's very, very subtle.
Okay.
It's not, we would never keep them up there if they were just completely wrong. They're still very helpful, but
just know there'll be nuances that aren't quite matching what the user will see when they actually go to do the work.
Yes, yes. But
I got it. Okay.
But, and you know, in that case, if you do run across something, call me or email me or chat with me, and we'll talk about it. Under help, there's also a contact us, and there's a live chat. And then there's my phone number. That's direct to my desk. This goes to me also, but it also goes to some other people, but you'll ultimately get an answer from me. Let me give you you all have my direct email address anyhow, because I've sent you a couple emails. So just use msaxon@missioninsight.com. All right.
Can I ask about the privacy policy with uploading our data?
Absolutely. There is a clause in the contract with the LCMS that talks about that. I can try to send you that portion of the contract, or you guys can pull out the contract and take a look at it. But basically, of course, no one will ever get a hold of any of the names in the system. I mean, we have amazing privacy with regards to the servers and firewalls and protection there. And we're a Christian company. We don't sell names. So,
okay. So it's basically just for creating our report. It's not shared to help other churches necessarily to create their report.
No, we have a way to make sure that people who don't need to see that don't. So for instance, if you are designated as the person who's going to work with the congregation list at your church, you have to have a certain access level given to your profile by me or someone there at the office. Then even if you did have the access level, you can only see yours. You can't see the churches. So that's a layer of privacy that we've put in place, in addition to the other, obviously not selling or distributing or using the names in any way, shape, or form ever. So, and here's the thing too. I'm going to just go under Tools, Congregants. I'm going to just show you the template, and I want you to know that it's not any private information other than a name, address, city, state, and zip. You can fill out the email, and there are some, first attend dates, member status, things like that. But that's all the information that goes in there. There's no financial information. There's nothing that is going to, make you uncomfortable, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in putting this information in the system. The information is derived because this is a system that geocodes the address, and the information comes from where the person is plotted on the map, the geospatial inquiry system. That's how the information comes to us. It's based on the address.
Okay.
Right.
If we don't have stuff like baptism date, those are just extra things. We don't necessarily
everything after zip, and you'll see this in the tutorial, is optional.
Okay.
That's all optional. We just need this information. You can even put fake names. You don't even have to put people's real names. We just need the addresses, because that's where the information comes from.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
Oh, may I ask? This is Pastor Rock again. May I ask? But it seems like the birth date would be critical for knowing your age demographics, correct?
It's based on the Experian Mosaic profiles.
Oh, which they already know.
They do.
So we don't have to provide it because Experian already knows that in their giant computers in the sky,
Exactly.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
It's information only because you might want to pull a report out of our system that gives you the birthdays, but you already have that information in your own system. So the birthdays is totally irrelevant. It doesn't do
Well, it seems like if a church was concerned about privacy and somebody hacking you, we could say we could tell our congregation we never even uploaded your birthday.
Exactly.
The bad people got it elsewhere from Experian,
Yeah, they got off
like that. Catherine, I think, asked that.
They got off of Facebook or something. Yeah. So I get this. I get it, but we can find out so much more information about people other than in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All out there.
So it's all out there, whether you want it to be or not. Anyhow, but it's not going to come from us. So, all right. I think what I want to do at this point, because we're looking at 12:35 and I need to be off by 1, I want to talk about how to generate reports. Is that okay with you guys, or do you have something that you want to talk about specifically?
That's fine. It seems like
I feel like all the tutorials are going to help you tremendously. The tutorial about running your first reports takes you into the report wizard under tools, report wizard. You guys can figure that out on your own. I want to talk about the map. I want to talk about doing things in the system on the map that I think is much easier, in my opinion. So I'm going to right click and clear all this. I'm going to clear the red dots. And I'm just going to talk to you about the map. I'm going to talk to you about the backgrounds that you can select. I'm going to talk to you about how to draw a shape and pull reports. And I'm going to talk about how to generate theme maps. All right. So here under the backgrounds, we are on Street View. You also have a satellite view. And of course, satellite to me is not very helpful unless you really are dragged in, So here's Faith. It's a pretty satellite picture. You can also, in the system, right-click on the street and ask for a Google Street View. And you can look at it this way. There's a church over there. Then another thing that I want to talk about real quick is under additional resources. Say you guys wanted to see all the churches in the area. There's a search Google Maps, and we have presets set up so we can put church in there and we can hit search and it brings up all the other churches in the area. Okay. You can also locate a certain address. Somebody shout out their address to me real quick.
900 Chicago Avenue, Melrose Park, Illinois.
All right, so there we are. You can go quickly to an address under additional resources, locate an address. Those are just some easy ways to navigate. I always like to use the zip code too to find I'll get a phone call and they'll say, Michelle, I can't figure out this. Will you get into the system and walk me through it? And the first thing I always say is, what's your zip code? Because that will take me to where they are in an area I have no idea where I am. I live in Georgia. I'm pretty familiar with St. Louis area, but I don't know things like in Wyoming or what have you. So that's under shapes. Select a zip code. Okay. So let me go back to the backgrounds. I got waylaid. Satellite, we have hybrid. Hybrid just simply puts the street names and some other things on the map. We have terrain and basic. I like street and I like the hybrid the best, but you can play around with however you want to view the map. You can change the opacity of the screen. I always keep it pretty crisp and dark. Let me explain what a layer is. A layer is just a visual. A layer is a layer that is put over the map. It's a visual. It doesn't not enable you to select anything on the map. It just lays down a visual layer. So if I wanted to ask for what the census tracts are or what the block groups are, it's putting a layer down on the map as a visual. I do want to explain these particular terms to you. When we receive information from the Census Bureau, the smallest reportable geography that they give us is a census block group. That is for privacy. So you cannot just ask for all the information of all the houses on one street. It's going to group all the data into a block group. And a block group is an area that averages 1,500 to 2,500 people in population. Then larger than a block group is a census tract. And a census tract combines a block group. And it averages about 5,000 people. Then you go into cities. Those are your city boundaries. Then bigger than a city is a zip code. Bigger than a zip code is a county. You get where I'm going, and then after county, we're at state. Those are sort of how the geographies are predefined within the system. You can also have districts for schools. In Georgia, we have unified school districts. We don't have a separate high school or elementary. I'm not sure what you guys have in Illinois. It looks like probably both. Yeah, you have elementary and high school. If I put unified on, there aren't a lot. But so we have that information too. Now, in order to actually pick one of those geographies to run a report on, you have to be under shapes. Remember, layers are just visuals. Shapes is where everything happens, where you can select things, draw things. So when I was talking about those layers under shapes, you've got your layers here, and you want to select from one of those layers. So you're going to, let's just pick zip code. And I'm going to click one time on the map, and it selected that zip code for me. I have a blue line around that zip code. I have an information box that just opened up. That means I selected 60160 as my study geography. This is my shape that I want to study. That's kind of how we talk about things. And then this is your toolbox right here. Basically, you can do several things in the info box. It gives you a lot of information too. This zip code is 4.48 square miles. And it's also 2,867.98 acres. Not that you want to know about that, but just so you know, there is some good information there. You can tell the system, I don't want this zip code selected, so clear it. And it'll clear that and get rid of info box.
Can I ask a question there? The 229 churches plotted, is that just within that zip code?
No, that's the whole entire study. If you read further, 229 churches are plotted in the whole study. 2 churches are contained in this shape.
Okay, so that's only counting the Lutheran registered churches, or?
Yes, yes. We're not going to give you all the information about other denominations because we've only created this for the Northern Illinois district.
Okay, and the 229 is how many churches are in the Northern Illinois district?
Yes.
In total. Okay.
Yes. Good question.
Make sure. Okay.
All right. You can also save your shapes. Name them, save them, and then they'll appear under Save Shapes. So I've been in and out of this study a couple times doing trainings for other people. And these are, and it was Sue Green, who obviously was who I was with doing this, but we were saving shapes just as examples. So know that they appear under shape, and you click the Save Shapes button, and you can pick the one you want and say display. You can also display multiple. If I wanted to display all those shapes I've saved, display, it can do that, okay? And then you can also make a list. Say, for instance, you wanted your congregants were plotted in here. You could make a congregant list of all the people that are inside that zip code. Or at a upper level usage, Vanda could create a church list of all of the churches in that particular shape that are, like, for instance, you could do a county, and you could list all the churches that are within that county in the Northern Illinois district. You can also pull reports. Click on predefined reports. You can pull our predefined reports, which is the quick insight, the executive insight, full impressions, quadrennium, and comparative insight. Remember, comparative insight is only accurate if you have uploaded, plotted, encompassed your congregates in the shape. Can you only run that? You can run the report, but it won't give you good information. It'll be zeros under the congregant section. You can change the title of the report by editing this. And what I'm going to do is just do a quick insight, and you guys can see I've probably got something open. Yeah, I've got it. If you have a report open and you click on the button and nothing happens, that's why. So here's how it works. It's going to generate right in front of you and open right in front of you. It's not a long process. If you end up waiting for more than a minute, I'd say call me. Because that's pretty, I mean, that was a whole zip code, and that you returned very quickly. So that's an example of one of our reports. I won't go through them all. You can save your reports. You can print your reports. You can email your reports. And also know that, say for instance, you close this and you forgot to save it. It's under reports, my reports. We save for you 30 days worth of work. Okay? All you would have to do is click on that link and it'll open your report back up. But after 30 days, it goes away. All right, I'm going to close this. Close.
May I ask something, Michelle?
Sure.
Pastor Rock again. Why would somebody want to do a custom shape? Would it be because of maybe a river that would be a natural barrier, so to speak, for attendance, or what?
Exactly. There are many different reasons, but that's the perfect reason. Also, they might want to avoid certain areas where they know for a fact that they would not be outreaching to. Or they want to avoid a prison. Or they want to avoid a college. Things like that. Or they're just looking in a certain area to plant a church. They know that they want to be this side of this street and this side of that street. So those are just some of the reasons. We've also got a travel polygon. It's based on drive time. You can tell the system, okay, I want to pull a report on a 20-minute drive time around my church. Or I want to pull a report on the distance or walk. Like if you're in a retirement community, like in Florida, they all walk to church. So they might want to study a walk time of 20 minutes. So for this one, we'll just do the 30-minute walk time. You would just select the center point on the map. I'm going to just click on St. Paul, and the system is going to start drawing. I'm not doing that. The system is doing it. And it's probably real confused about the water there. Hopefully it won't go into the water. All right, there it is. That's your 30-minute drive time. That's a lot of.
In good traffic.
Yeah, right. It's 625 square miles as a 30-minute drive time. So now you could also do the predefined reports, but let me show you build report. Build report is fun to me because there are times when you don't want, 13 pages. All you really want to know is the population and the racial and ethnic trends. And then say you just want to know what the population by gender is. And let's say you just want to know about housing. That's all. And you can just click Get Reports. And it'll generate. And you can display them all. And it's basically just the raw numbers of what you asked for. You can also tell the system, I want to get a PDF of what I asked for, and it'll generate that in a PDF file for you. Nice little picture, little chart or a graph, and then the variables you chose. Okay. And again, all of this, guys, I know that this is overwhelming, but all of it is on the welcome screen. Okay. Any questions? All right, I want to talk about, I'm going to clean up my map. I don't like all these things all over the place, so I'm going to right click, clear, clear all. Then I want to get rid of the layers so that I have a clean map. I'm going to teach you how to do a theme map. This is a wonderful way to visually identify pockets of people you're looking for. I'm going to click theme map, create theme map. All right, say that I would like to locate, and I'm just throwing this out there, Korean people in the area by the smallest reportable geography that the Census Bureau gives me, and that is a census block group. And I'm going to scan all of the area. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And let me take a look at this. I'm going to see something here real quick. You can edit the values. So for a dark blue in a block group, I put 500 for the biggest chunk of people. There's really not a lot of Koreans in the block group, so I'm going to do 250. I'm going to do 100, do 50, 25, 10, and 5. And it's going to change the map. And these are people. So if I'm looking at this, I know that the blue areas are the block groups that have the highest populated amount of Koreans. Like this block group right here. So I could go under shapes and choose block groups and click one time on that block group, and I could really study that block group. I know that there are a lot of Koreans there, but I want to know more about that block group. And I could do a predefined report. I could build my own report. And this is for, like, and obviously a case for starting a Korean church service or something like that. And we could do this for all sorts of different variables. If we wanted to go into families' income below poverty level, let's do that one. By year 2016, by census block groups, create a theme map. So Dark blue are the highest populated Black groups that are below poverty level. So we're looking in this area, there's quite a few. So you see where I'm going with thematic mapping. All right, any questions? And then again, under help, support videos, creating and printing theme maps. That's a good video. All right, any questions? I know that we did this very quickly. I believe that, you know, with what we talked about today and then really doing the welcome screen, you guys will have a great foundation. And know that when you're working in Mission Insight, you cannot break the system.
Good to know.
Is that a challenge? Is that a challenge?
Do not be scared. If everything goes wrong, just click that X and get out of it and go and come back in. That's how I always fix everything. Just log back in. So, and I'm here for you. Know that you can call me, text, or not text me, but email me or chat with me at any time. And again, let me remind you, under help, contact us. All right, any questions?
Generally, when are you in the office and available? I presume around Eastern time zone hours?
I am. I'm Eastern time. During the summer, except for Fridays, I'm here 8:30 to 6. There's some Fridays that we will be off because of our summer hours, but Fridays is 8:30 to 5 normally. Like Friday coming up, I'm off. So.
Okay.
We have a very good reputation for making sure our clients are taken care of in a very timely manner. So I take pride in that. So we're very responsive.
Yeah, Michelle has been awesome. This is Vonda. I just wanted to thank you, Michelle, for hosting this webinar for us. I am in the least bit of an expert, but I wanted to make this awesome tool available to everyone out there. So that's why I thought this webinar was such a great idea to have.
Yes, and we can do it again. Seriously, if you know you're going to have people that you know had a conflict or what have you, we can reschedule another one. So just know that I'm very much available for that.
I appreciate that. So this webinar will actually be recorded and I'll make it available to everyone in the district, of course, including everyone that was here today. I guess I kind of see this webinar because there's just so much available in Mission Insight. Maybe this could be like a webinar 101. If Mission Insight 101, if additional questions come up, maybe we could just have something that's even more detailed, or if questions.
That would be great. Whatever you guys need.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop.